Hi guys, it's Brittany. So welcome to my slumber party video as we're gonna be talking about fun and interesting topics. So feel free to grab a snack and a beverage as we talk about these interesting topics. And I have my s'mores Dunkin' Donuts coffee, which is really good, really good. Um, so of course this is something new. It's a chit chat summer party video, and I have a Halloween nightgown on, and it actually says "Ghostess with a Mostess." So yeah. So let's see. I did tweet about the topics that I was gonna talk about, and yes, instead of sitting on a chair, I'm sitting on my bed. I have a tiger blanket and a pink fluffy blanket, which is so soft. Um, so yeah, now if you guys follow me on Twitter, you'll see about the topics that I tweet about that I also want to talk about, which is music, movies, dreams, and the paranormal. So yeah, and I hope that as we chat about these topics that it'll just be a lot of fun, and hope you guys will enjoy this. And what was I gonna say? So yeah. Oh, and if you want to chat with me, um, now this will be I'll upload this as a premiere video, so you'll get to watch this. And honestly, I don't know how long this is gonna be, and I know you guys probably wouldn't mind if it's maybe longer than 20 minutes, but if it happens to go over 40 minutes or even close to an hour, then okay, we'll just see. Ow. Cut. No, no, I'm kidding. It'll just go on. So yeah, no matter how long this video is gonna be, either way, it's just gonna be different from any videos that I've done, and I think maybe I should do this at least once a month. So yeah, let's get right into it. So right now I don't have a snack, but that's okay. That's because I had dinner earlier, so right now I'm not that hungry, but I do have my s'mores Dunkin' Donuts in my pink cup, so that is just really good. And it actually does taste like s'mores. Like I can taste like the chocolate, also like marshmallow, in the coffee, which is so good. So oh, there was something on my mind. I had it. Oh, so yeah, when you see this video as a premiere, you can either chat with me in the comments. So yeah, you can do that. You can chat with me in the comments. So whatever we might be talking about, you can chat with me in the comments below. So yeah, so of course that'll be fun. So let's see. So I'm pretty sure with these topics, I don't think it has to be an exact order. I think it can go back and forth. I think sometimes if I want to mention something about music, movies, dreams, or the paranormal, I think I can switch the topics a little bit. But yeah, I don't think it has to be in exact order, like, okay, let's discuss music, then this, then that. You know what I mean? I don't think it has to be exactly in order, because you know how when when you have a conversation with someone, you know how sometimes the topic is not always right on topic, like sometimes it is, but then sometimes the topic can be switched to another topic, or it could be switched back to the other topic. So, you know, sometimes that happens in conversations. I think it just depends on what the conversation is about, depending on what those two people are talking about. I think it depends, but yeah, you know, of course, I think that happens a lot where certain topics get changed from one to the other, back and forth. So that's what we're gonna do. Like, if I've like now, if I happen to change any topics a little bit, I will. So, yeah. Now, I will say, I don't know how I'm gonna start this, but I think what I will say is that I, yeah, I actually grew up watching movies a lot when I was quite little, but I also grew up listening to music too. I remember the music I remember listening to was The Doors, even The Carpenters, because I love Karen Carpenter. I love her songs. I know most of her songs are sad, but I know there's also at least even most of them that are just love songs, and I love her love songs and her Christmas songs. And yeah, there are just certain artists that I did grow up listening to. There's certain ones I didn't, not until when I got older. Um, but yeah, it's hard to mention all of them right now at the moment because, you know, there are so many. I think I do remember listening to Pearl Jam. Oh man, like I said, it's just hard to mention at the moment. Nirvana, yeah, they're good. But yeah, I remember we had at least like CDs of different music, and of course, I remember hearing some songs over the radio. Um, and I remember there were some songs that I've heard of that I think it was like, I'm thinking, wait, what are they saying? You know how when you hear a certain song, but then it's like a misheard lyric, and you're like, is that what they're saying? But then it turns out that's not what they're saying. It's like, oh, uh, wow, I thought they were saying this when really they're not. Um, I don't know who sings the song, but you know the song Suddenly I See. I don't know who sings that, but that is a good song. But I remember, I think there's times I've heard it on the radio and I didn't know she was singing Suddenly I See. I thought she was saying CIC. I thought she was saying CIC. Or not like I, but I as in I. So it's like CIC. So it's like, you know what I mean? So that's what I thought she was saying, but then, oh yeah, it wasn't too long ago that I was watching Ghost Whisper, and there was an episode that had that song, you know, towards the end of a particular episode. And so when I had the subtitles on of that episode, I saw the lyrics, and she was singing what she was singing something else, because when I saw it, it says Suddenly I See, not CIC, but Suddenly I See. I'm like, oh, that's what she's saying. So I was like, oh, kind of feel bad that I thought she was singing something else, but oops. I think there's some other ones too, so let me know which songs you probably misheard, because yeah, there are some I know I probably misheard. I just, those other ones I can't think of at the moment. But oh, I do remember listening to Brian Adams. I'm sorry, I almost said something else. But yeah, now I don't think I've listened to any of his songs before, except for when he sang the songs for Spirit. You know, for the DreamWorks animated movie of Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron. So it wasn't until that I watched the movie for the first time and heard his songs, the songs he sang for the movie. Yeah, I just loved it, and even afterwards, and when I, you know, saw, like, found out who was that sang these really great songs for the movie, I was like, you know, I remember thinking, okay, I want to listen to his other songs because I'm curious of what his other songs are. And so I remembered when I did listen to his songs, I just remember thinking, wow, these ones are really good. And then, yeah, I think the more I listened to his other songs on his different albums, I actually don't have his albums, but I still have Spirit, but I did remember listening to his songs on mostly on YouTube. So yeah, the more I listened to his songs, different songs that I haven't heard of, and I was hearing it for the first time, I just loved it. So I just like became a fan. So yeah, I actually do love Bryan Adams. I love his songs. Yeah, there's just a lot of music artists that I love of their songs, like, you know, Bryan Adams, like I mentioned, and the Carpenters. Yeah, Karen Carpenter, like I love her songs, like I said, especially her love songs. And Michael Jackson, Britney Spears, and you know, there's just a lot. So I think I may have to probably make a list, maybe for you guys to see, of who I just love to listen to. But yeah, I like, you know, any kind of music, except I think the probably one I don't like I don't like country too much, maybe just a little bit. And I would say, now there is some metal that I like, but the thing is, the ones I don't like is where I can't understand what they're saying. You know, where like those types of like heavy metal where it kind of sounds like they have this deep, almost raspy, warring sound, and you just can't make out what they're saying, and it's, I don't know. Like, to me, I don't know what they're saying. So when it comes to those, I'm like, what is this? Like, I don't know what he's saying or what the song's about. Because I remember seeing something like that in Ace Ventura Pet Detective. You know, the first one where, you know, Jim Carrey had to go talk to his friend about, you know, about something. And then when he sees this concert, you see these guys like banging their heads. Like, their heads are, looks like it's going like this, but their hair is like flipping. I'm like, how can they do that? That looks like it must really hurt. And you know, there's this guy on stage, and it sounds like he's roaring like this really deep, you know, roaring, and it doesn't sound like he's singing. Like, I can't understand what he's saying at all, and I'm like, you know what I mean? So that's the only kind I don't like. And yeah. Now, of course, I know this is a different you know, point of view, of this angle of the room, but that's okay. This is a sit down video, so oh, that's so good. I can't help it. It's really good. Okay, so yeah. Oh, and I know not everyone's into this, and I know there's some that are, but I love like musical songs, like even musicals. I do. Now I never went to go see like a Broadway, like a musical Broadway play or anything, but I would love that. I would love to have that experience. I think it would just be this very unique and exciting first time experience to go see a live musical Broadway play. And one in particular I would love to see in person, and that is The Phantom of the Opera, because I love that story and I just love how they brought that story of the musical Broadway play to life in the 2004 musical movie. And so I remember the first time that I saw The Phantom of the Opera, I was, oh man, I'm trying to think. It came out, what, December of 2014? Yeah, because I think around that time I was 13. So, yeah. And yeah, so I remember when I watched it. Now, of course, I didn't see it in theaters, but I wish I did, because that would have been a great experience to see that movie in a theater, So I remember when I first watched it, oh wow, I think it completely blew me away. I think everything about it just moved me. And I felt like it just literally, like, I don't know, like, I just felt like it really just moved me, and it just, blew me away, because, I haven't seen a musical movie like that before, and plus, this was the first movie that I've watched with, Gerard Butler, and seeing his performance as the Phantom was just amazing. And I would say he was very convincing, because it's like, I don't know, like, I don't know how else to put it. I may have to do this in a review or something, but yeah, I would just say since then I've had a crush on Gerard Butler since then, and wow, and now it's been for so long. And funny thing is, that Gerard Butler, he and I share the same birthday, November 13th. And so when I found that out, I remember I was just like surprised, and I was just like, what? We share the same birthday? Like, no way, like, that's great. But I don't know, I think that just kind of made my day, it just made my day knowing that that this great actor, one of my favorite actors and one of my crushes, that he and I just happen to have the same birthday. I'm sorry, my stomach is quite talkative, so I think my stomach wants to join in on the conversation. And funny how I mention this, because now you're probably wondering, are we gonna talk about some other crushes? Maybe. I'm not too positive. I mean, I'm kinda hesitant. I mean, I just want to say this. before we talk about anything else. But now I will talk about past crushes. I will. But as ones that are currently present. And when I mean present, I mean as of the now. So those ones, like I said, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe, but I'm just kind of feeling hesitant, about it, because I'm like, well, as much as I wouldn't mind, but I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it's not because I feel shy to bring it up. It's just more like, if I do, I just don't want there to be any like judgmental or critical comments about that, because honestly, if I was watching a video and if someone's talking about either their past crushes, whether it's any crushes, like on those that maybe someone that they knew, or maybe even past celebrity crushes, or ones that they probably have currently, now. And if someone mentioned anyone at all, and even if it may not be somebody who I thought would be, and if it's someone completely different, someone I probably wouldn't have crossed my mind, but it's like, if it's someone they've mentioned and it's just someone that they like because because maybe somehow they just like of pretty much everything about that person, and like, let's say they just want to talk about because they just want to, then I would not, I like even if it's someone I wouldn't have thought that the person would mention, I wouldn't be like, like, no, I don't see it, like, okay, I know this person has a crush on this person, but I don't know, I mean, really, I don't see it, I would not say anything that would sound mean or critical, like, no. And the thing is because sometimes, and I know this for a fact, that when someone judges or criticizes someone of either something they like or someone that they like, and they happen to say something like that because they don't understand, like they don't understand that that person just has maybe a certain taste of certain things that they don't quite get, and that's why there's a lot of criticism, of what people like, because they don't understand, certain people just don't quite understand certain things. Or if someone likes someone and they happen to say something mean about it because they just don't understand, they just don't understand that not everyone's gonna have like, oh, this so obvious taste, in certain people. Like, everyone has different tastes in things, and everyone has different tastes and types of what and who they like. So it's like, you know what I mean? So I know, now I know not anyone here is gonna judge at all. I know that, but that's what I'm just saying. I'm just still feeling kind of hesitant, like I said. But oh, excuse me. Anyway, now if you probably would want to know, maybe, just maybe, I could do that in the next sleepover video by next month, so that I can do. But as of now, no, I'm so very hesitant. So just bear with me. So anyway, so sorry if I went on about that. It's just that's just true, you know? That's just the truth about that. So, and so, oh yeah, but I would say my favorite song though is Kiss from a Rose because, um, you know, of course I remember hearing it a lot because it's a song that was made for Batman Forever, which is my favorite. I would say my number one all-time favorite Batman movie. And I know that one gets a lot of hate on, but I don't know. It's like I don't quite get it. I mean, at the same time, I can see why they don't like it, but at the same time, even when I watch it, I don't get the hate because with me, I just find it as this very like unique movie where you get this a very comic book feel to it, you know, of the city of Gotham. And so that has the comic book feel to it along with, well, some other things. But I know what made it different with everything else is the neon lights and the different designs of the bat costumes and the Batmobile. Now I love the design of the Batmobile, I really do. So yeah, I just love everything about it. Now I can go on and on and on about Batman Forever, but this time I'm not gonna because this will be really long. Now I do plan on to do like a movie review and other movie videos on Batman Forever, but I'm not gonna do that anytime soon because I want to do that until for its 30th anniversary, because by the time Batman Forever turns 30 it's gonna be within 3 years from now in 2025. So yeah, I mean, you know, I don't mind waiting till then to make videos of Batman Forever to celebrate its 30th anniversary. So I don't mind till then. So, but yeah, as I said before, that I did grow up watching movies. Let's see. Now, of course, I would say there are some movies I did grow up watching, although there's some I didn't. And but yeah, it wasn't until I got older that I was watching even a lot more movies, even ones that I haven't even saw at the time when I was quite young. And so it's like, you know, so okay, I would just have to really think about like the ones that I grew up watching. So let's see. Well, I do know that I did grow up watching a lot of Val Kilmer movies. I would say about 6, 7 of his movies at the time. Let's see. So I grew up watching Top Secret, Top Gun, but I'm not sure if I really watched that at the time when I was little. Like maybe a few times. But I don't think I watched it enough, not until when I was a teenager. So let's see, the ones I did really grew up watching was Top Secret, Real Genius, and I love Real Genius, The Prince of Egypt, what else? Am I forgetting something? Okay, Tombstone. I know that's not all. Oh, Thunderheart. Batman Forever. Yeah, and The Ghost in Darkness. Now I know that one is like um now that was a rated R movie. Now I know it's not anything like too graphic or too gory, but the thing is, it does have some graphic parts, and it does have at least some like uh bloody scenes a little bit, it here and there, but it's not too much, because if this movie was done today, it would have been a lot. It would have. I think it would have been, if that movie was done today, yeah, there would have been a lot of very graphic, very gory scenes, and I don't think I would have liked to see that, because I feel like movies today just don't really leave the imagination. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like the movies that were made back then, like during the 70s, 80s, and 90s, I feel like there are some things they kind of show, but they don't show everything. They're not going to show every single graphic, gruesome, and gory detail where it's going to make you sick, like physically sick. So, like I said, I do think that, some parts they probably show that maybe are a little bit gross or a little bit graphic, but they're not going to show a lot. But yeah, I feel like today they just show too much really bloody, graphic, gruesome scenes, and it's just like, I don't want to see that. I really don't. Okay, I just want to say this. You know the movie Terrifier of Art the Clown? Now, I did watch it once. Just once. And I won't watch it again. And here's why. Because not only is it, well, this very crazed clown, but even like the way he kills people in the movie is just too much. Oh, and one in particular, that scene where that woman was hanging upside down, and how the way he killed her. Well, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say anything about that, because when I saw it, really it really made my stomach turn. It made me so shocked. I was beyond shocked, and I remember thinking, why? Like, why like that? Like, and yeah, I remember thinking, okay, if the writers wanted this clown to kill this girl that way, so horrific and so ugh, in a way that I never thought I would see in the movie. And to me, I thought they could have just blocked that out. They could have just not have filmed that because it was too much. And they could have showed like something else, when that was going on. So it's like, oh my gosh. I am not gonna say what it is. If you know what I'm talking about, no. Anyway, I think I got a little bit off topic. Hang on. I really don't want to be thinking about that. Oh, it's too disturbing. Too disturbing. Okay, no. So, but yeah, it's like I was saying that, I don't know. Okay, so anyway, back to the movie that I grew up watching, along with, other movies of Val Kilmer movies that I was watching. So, like I said, so yeah, I remember, yeah, in that movie, like I said, it doesn't show a lot. Like I said, it does show at least some, graphic parts, some, it does show some of bloody scenes, but like I said, it doesn't like show a whole lot, especially how today's horror movies are, which I'm glad it doesn't really show a lot. And like I said, I know it probably does show some here and there, but it doesn't really show a lot, so that's good. And but yeah, I think because you know how kids are very impressionable, at a young age. So yeah, I feel like no matter what movie I watched, like somehow it's just left somewhat an impression on me. Like I would say, especially like yeah, I think with Forever, it just left this impression on me where I just loved it, and I'm just like, um, like I just loved everything about it. Like with me, I didn't love just the action scenes. Like I loved everything, even like the dialogue. Cause you know how I'm trying to get my words out. Cause you know how with some kids that when they watch movies that they don't care so much about the talking, and they just want to see some action going on or at least something. Well, I wasn't quite like that at that age. I don't know. Like that. I feel like I was but yeah, honestly I was, a mature kid for my age, and I for one wasn't really the kind where it's like I just had to watch something with a lot of action because if there wasn't action and there was too much talking, I'll get bored. No. No, I wasn't like that. Like, yes, I did enjoy like action scenes, but I also like the scenes where you get the actors playing these characters where they're talking, they're interacting with each other, and depends on what it is that they're talking to each other about. So I've always paid attention to that. And so, and of course, with Batman Forever, I just remember, like I said, not only I liked the action scenes, which I did, but I also paid attention to everything that was going on. The talking, characters interacting with each other, and different things that were going on. Like, even if those things weren't really like action, like anything like that was going on, like even if it wasn't fighting, but if it was some other things that were going on, I'm like, wait, what's going on? So I was always observing, like always really paying attention. And of course, there are some movies I did watch where, and here's the thing, I think this is what happened too, is that I think depending what movie I was watching, like there would be some parts where I would understand, like, okay, this is what's going on. But then there are certain parts of some other movies I would watch and I'm like, wait, what's going on here? So some parts I was actually confused. I think there was, I'm trying to think, I think there was one or two movies I would think I was quite confused on. Yeah, I think that's how you know that at a young age I was just like really in tune with the movie, and how I'm just movie buff and movie lover, because I just really observe and just love watching everything about the movie that I'm watching. And so yeah, like I said, those were the movies I grew up watching of Val Kilmer. But of course, as I mentioned before, he was my childhood crush. And yeah, so was Jeff Goldblum. But here's the funny thing, because I didn't have many movies of Jeff Goldblum. The only ones I had that I grew up watching was Independence Day, and Jurassic Park. So one was an alien movie, one was a dinosaur movie. um, so yeah, that was fun, and now of course I did watch Jurassic Park a lot, although I now there are some things I mostly understood with Jurassic Park, but only two things I did not quite understood, and that was what was in that big brown bag. But of course, I come to find out later it was money because he was greedy, and Dawson, that guy, he told Nedry that if he were to get all 15 species into the shaving cream canister, if he were to get all 15 species and gets them off the island, and have that delivered to him, that he would get a lot of money. I forgot how much. I remember calculating how much he would get, which is a lot. But here's the funny thing, because with a can, when he opens it, and when you count how many there are in a can, there's not 15. There's not enough for 15. There's only like, what, 10? So yeah, so that's an error, but hey, that's okay. But like I said, that's the one thing I did not understood when I was quite little, because I'm like, what's in that brown bag? Like, and why is he so happy? Because I did not get it. And plus, with him stealing the dinosaur embryos from the cold storage, from the embryo cold storage, yeah, I was just like, wait, why is he doing that? And so yeah, I just did not understand why he was stealing it, but I just remember it just made me really mad, because I'm like, why is he stealing those dinosaur embryos? Like what's this for? But like I said, I didn't know he was doing it to give it to that person, because in return he would get a lot of money. So I didn't know about that, and yeah, that's just the one thing that confused me. But like I said, that's okay, because sometimes there's some things that we don't quite get at a young age, and there's some things we don't come to know about at least a bit later, like maybe when we're a little older and we come to understand those things. So it's like, oh, now I get it. But yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I grew up watching a lot of movies, from when I was quite little. But I also, of course, grew up watching, I would say, a lot of movies, even when I was a teen. And of course, I would say that even now, I feel like there's some movies. I feel like there's just some I still haven't quite seen before. So I kind of feel like for those movies I haven't really seen before, whether if I have heard about them or if I haven't heard about them, that I still would want to at least watch those movies that I haven't seen. And here's another thing too, is that when I don't know how, like, I know this somehow happens for me. Like, I know when a movie becomes my favorite, that that sometimes it will happen after the first time or a second time. Okay, here's a good example. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, that the very first time that I've watched the musical movie of The Phantom of the Opera that came out in 2004, I remember I just loved everything about it. So after the first time watching it, I just fell in love with it, and it became my favorite movie. And since then, no matter how many times I watch it, I still find myself feeling that way, just feeling very moved and just like, wow. You know, I feel like there's just some parts that just, you know, takes my breath away, and I just absolutely love it. And it is still like my favorite musical movie. But of course, um, yeah. Of course, there's also another musical movie that's my favorite. And the funny thing is, okay, I'm gonna say this real quick, but so yeah, I was the first time watching it, it became my favorite. But then sometimes when it comes to watching certain movies, I would say sometimes after if I watch a movie the first time, like sometimes it doesn't always become my favorite, and somehow I'm like, okay, I don't know what to think of this. Like, okay, I like it, but is it my favorite? I don't know. But then sometimes, I think depending on the movie, sometimes if I watch it the second time, and then I find myself where I really enjoy it and I come to more than like it and I just love it, and then I'm like, okay, I think I have another favorite movie. And sometimes that happens, it doesn't happen all the time, but when it does happen, it usually happens when if I'm watching the movie the first time, and like if I'm really liking it and if I'm enjoying it the first time, and then all of a sudden once the movie's over, I'm like, you know what, I want to watch that again. And then by the time I do watch it again, I somehow enjoy it more, and then I'm like, wow, like, you know, and then somehow I just feel like I just enjoyed it more, and that there's just everything about it that I just really like loved. And then by the time the movie's over, I'm like, you know, okay, like I enjoyed it more this time, and not only that, but I came to love it, and now it's my favorite. So yeah, and like I said, so sometimes that happens. Um, but yeah, sometimes it depends. But it also depends, like I said, even on the movie. I think it depends what kind of movie I'm watching. It depends on the story. It also depends how it moves me, you know, because for all those favorite movies that are my favorite, like each of them touch me and move me in such a way, in their own way, where no matter how many times I watch them, I'm always enjoying it and loving it and just like having the best time rewatching it like over and over, and that it will never get old for me, and that I will never like become, you know, sick of it, because once I love something, it's gonna be my favorite. It's gonna be something that I'm always gonna love to watch no matter what. So yeah, you know, that's just me though. And when a movie becomes my favorite, it stays permanent as my favorite. Like even when I'm an old lady. Oh, but yes, this is going on for long. So, and believe me, I could go on and on talking about movies, and but I will say that for a long time, you know, from the time I was little to as a teenager, I feel like there's so many movies I've watched, even in my 20s, that I feel like there's so many movies I've watched with really great actors, and I feel like so far I have like a long list of favorite actors, and I know some people might have a few or 5 to 10, but with me it's over 10. Like there's a lot. So if anyone ever asks me like, oh, who's your favorite actor, name one, or name five, name 10, or I can't, like, I'm sorry, like maybe I can try to list at least maybe five, maybe not five, maybe 10, but I feel like if I were to really list how many favorite actors I have, it's just gonna be this long list where it's gonna be over 10. So just so you know. Okay, I'm sorry if I kind of paused. I'm gonna pause this real quick and get back with you because there's a bug in my room, so I have to get rid of it because earlier, and I'm glad this wasn't caught in the video, but earlier this bug was flying, and it was flying so close to me that I kind of, I freaked out, and I was just, and I kind of yelled at it. I was like, I kind of yelled at it. I was like, stop! And I was so frustrated with this bug, which I still am because it's right there, and I need to get rid of it. So, okay, hang on, because I don't want this bug flying around, not even when I'm asleep. Like, seriously. So, anyway, hold your thought. Stay tuned. It's gonna be paused just for a little bit. Okay, I think it's gone. I think. I'm not sure. I think I got it. I don't know, but it better not bug me when I'm trying to talk to you guys about these topics. I'm not sure if you guys know my favorite movies. I can name at least maybe some of them. So I think there are some you do know, maybe some you don't know. So I'll just name certain ones. So my favorite movies are, but if you guys want to know, I will leave a link to my Letterboxd account, and that will show you a list of my favorite movies. So Jurassic Park, Batman Forever, Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron, and I highly recommend it. Please check that out. The Lion King, 1994 version, Back to the Future, The Mask, Twister, Tombstone, Titanic, my goodness, and the Scream movies, all of them. So yeah, those are the ones I'll mention for now, but if you want to check out my other favorite movies, I will leave a link to my Letterboxd link, and you will see the list of my favorite movies. But yes, I do plan on watching more movies I haven't seen because, of course, as all of us, as everyone, that when we watch a movie, it depends on which movies that we're gonna like or don't like, or there's just some movies that we're just gonna more than like, because we're gonna come to love it and it'll be our favorite. So of course, as a personal movie critic myself, as everyone else is, and as someone who is a movie buff, a movie lover, and who has a lot of favorite movies, I do plan on watching other movies I haven't seen, and of course even rewatching movies that I haven't seen in a long time. And yeah, I also I want to know what other movies am I gonna like. But I'm also wondering what other movies out there that I might watch for the first time, or if I may watch the second time. Like, which ones that are gonna be my other favorite movies? Like, which ones are those gonna be? I don't know really, but I'm excited to find out. I am. I'm excited to know what other favorite movies that I haven't seen, that I might see, that might become my favorite movies. And even ones that I haven't watched in a long time, and once I rewatch it again, that maybe those ones might become my favorite movies too. Like I said, I don't know which ones those may be, but I'm excited to find out. So, yeah. Okay. And let's see. Oh, okay. I feel like I could. This cup is usually for like water, sometimes water, Dr. Pepper, but for now it's oh yeah, I'm using this for my s'mores Dunkin' Donuts coffee, which is so good. So yeah, so actually this is going on for long, but you know what, I'll say so far so good. So yeah, I could still talk about movies, but I think now we can talk about uh the the paranormal and dreams. And like I said, sometimes if I feel like I'm gonna switch the topics a little bit, I will. So let's see. Now, to be honest, when I was quite little, I actually never had any dreams. I remember, I think the only dreams I had was darkness, like all the time, and that was scary. It was, but it wasn't until at some point, you know, when my family and I moved, that then I started to have these very, and I mean very realistic dreams. I would get weird ones, good ones, even nightmares at times. So yeah, each one of them just felt very real, and to this day I still get that. Like, I still get these very, very vivid dreams, and I don't just mean that they feel real, like how it feels real now, but like, okay, if I had a dream that I was maybe at if I was at a restaurant hanging out with friends, and if I were to pick up like a hamburger, I would taste it. I would actually taste the hamburger, and if I had like if I had coffee with me, like a mocha frappe, I would taste it. I would feel how cold it is, but also taste the mocha frappe. And so yeah, that's how real it is. And if someone came up to me in the dream and they put their arm, no, if they put their hand right here, like touching my arm, I would feel that touch of their hand on my arm in my dream. And another thing that feels real is that if a guy came up to me in a dream and he kissed me, like even the ones that are like French kissy, like that would feel real too. Like, wow. It did. Even those ones felt real. And so yeah, it's like no matter what's going on, no matter what I'm doing, it feels real. And I know there are some people that say that the only way for you to know if you're dreaming is if you pick it up, if you pick up a book and you find nothing and it's completely blank, and that's how you know you're dreaming. Well, actually, that's not true. That's not true. At least not for me, because there's been times where I would see books in my dreams, and there's times where if I'm somewhere, if I happen to be somewhere, because I remember I had this dream where I was somewhere, I think at a movie theater, and I saw Jurassic Park poster, but I didn't see just the Jurassic Park logo. No. I saw the Jurassic Park logo along with the words Jurassic Park, so I can see words in my dreams. And yeah, that's fascinating. I don't know, I just think that these dreams that I have where I can see words in my dreams, feel the physical touch in my dreams, and even feel my own feelings, like what I would be feeling in real life. So it's kind of like if something happens and then I feel like, whoa, wait a minute, no, this isn't right. Or if someone says something to me, but if it sounded hurtful, I would feel hurt. So, but I think there have been times in a dream where, I think there was this one dream I had where it was sad. Yeah, it was sad. I remember I was like crying in the dream, but then when I woke up, I actually woke up holding in my cry in my sleep, and that was like, wow. But then of course by the time I woke up, I didn't really let it out, because after I woke up I was like, okay, that was a dream. But I remember feeling like the pressure and the tightness of my throat, because how I was holding in my cry in my sleep, and I was just like, okay, like, okay, I'm fine. But then of course whenever I would have those nightmares, oh, that felt real. And I've had nightmares of my fears, of spiders. And when I mean spiders, I don't mean like the small ones, I mean the tarantulas. Oh, I don't even like the word. I don't. But yeah, I remember having nightmares about those, and it's so terrifying. Oh. So, okay. Here's one nightmare about these tarantulas that I've had. And this was years ago. So, like I said, this was years ago. So, I had this dream where all of a sudden I felt like it felt like an earthquake going on. And I remember I ran into this building. I think I ran into the building to, I think, get something, or to get someone, I think, to make sure they're safe. But then when I got to the elevator, all of a sudden I felt something big jumped on my back. And so when I felt it, I remember my eyes got wide, and I was like, oh no, is this what I think it is? So then when I looked up, you know how you see those lights in the elevator? So when I looked up, all of a sudden all of these tarantulas were jumping out, and I had to duck like this and cover my face, and all of them were jumping on me, like everywhere. Like they were on my back, on my butt, on my legs, on my head. Whew. Okay, now I'm getting that I'm getting that uneasy feeling when I'm talking about this nightmare. Like, ugh, I don't want to feel like anything's on me. Now I'm getting paranoid. So anyway, they were jumping on me everywhere, and I was screaming, and And I remember even in the dream they were like on my arms. It's like ugh. But I remember I was like doing this. I was like shaking my arms off. But here's the thing, I was so terrified. I was so terrified of what was going on and screaming bloody murder. At some point the dream ended, but when the dream ended, I remember that in my sleep it still felt real. I still felt completely terrified even when the dream was over. So I woke up, this is how I woke up. I woke up like this, like with my arms, like my hands, my arms shaking in my sleep because it felt real. And man, that really terrified me. And yeah, I don't want to have a dream like that again. Like, well, the ones I call dreams are the good ones. The ones I call nightmares are the, you know, really scary ones. So it's like, oh, no. Yeah, so since then I never had a dream, well, a nightmare like that where they're jumping on me everywhere, like, ugh, no. Like I said, since then I never had a nightmare like that, so that's good. That's good that I never did, because that would be horrible. And that's another thing too, I don't have reoccurring dreams or nightmares, because you know how some people have reoccurring dreams or nightmares, I think depending on the dream or nightmare, but I don't have that. I don't get that. And to be honest, I think it's a good thing that I don't, because every night is something new, it's something different. It's like, it's something, you know, it's almost like watching a new movie. You know, at least that's how I see it. Like watching a new movie you never seen before, and like there it is. So, yeah, talking about spiders, like, what if it's a nightmare about them or about anything else? It just really makes me feel uneasy, and it also makes me feeling paranoid. Like, I kind of feel like somehow I have to, you know, look behind me, and you know, to see if everything's okay. Ugh. Yeah, that's how I just get completely terrified. Like, I just get so uneasy, I get so unnerved, you know, talking about them, because it's like, ugh. You know, it's like, so, no. I mean, so far it's been a while since I've had a nightmare about those things. Oh, speaking of which, okay, does anyone remember seeing, for those who are on Facebook, or if you see this anywhere, have you seen a poster about they're making a remake of Arachnophobia? Because when I was on Facebook, I remember I was scrolling, you know, on my newsfeed, and then I saw a poster, two different posters, and it says remake of Arachnophobia, and I'm like, what? And so, because the reason I'm saying this is because years ago, and I do mean years ago, that I had this dream about, I couldn't tell whether this dream was either a sequel to Arachnophobia or a remake, but I think in this dream it was a sequel. Now, if you want to check out that dream, I will leave the link to it in the description below. But I don't want to mention the whole dream. I mean, one part of it is scary, but still, like, I just remember when I heard about this Arachnophobia remake that they're gonna plan to do, you know, to film, I just remember looking back on the dream that I had. I'm like, wait a minute, I had a dream that somehow they were going to make another movie, but in the dream that I had, it was a sequel. And now, like, even though they're not really going to do a sequel, but they're going to do a remake, but it's still on, you know, on arachnophobia. It's like, I was completely shocked. Like, and here's the thing, I had a feeling about that too, because I thought, you know, I wouldn't doubt it if they ever make a remake on arachnophobia again. But I thought if they do, it might be years, you know, it might be, you know, like maybe 20 years from now, maybe 30 years, maybe 40, maybe 50 years. But I never expected that it would be sometime soon. So it was like, oh great. Now of course, I don't know how they're gonna make this movie. I don't know if it's gonna be like, I don't know if it's gonna somehow be like a really scary horror movie than the original, because I know the original came out in October, I think somewhere around there, but it did came out in 1990, so it came out at least a year before I was born. So like I said, I don't know if it's gonna be like one of those crappy like CGI movies, and excuse me for saying that, but I'm just saying it for what it is, because you know, sometimes certain horror movie remakes can turn out very you know, like that. It could turn out very crappy. So I don't know if it's gonna be like that, where it's like, like, wasn't scary. So I don't know if it's gonna be like that, or if it's gonna turn out to be like a really terrifying horror movie, you know? I just have no idea. So I think we'll just have to wait and see. Oh, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. Excuse me for that. I think that's the coffee, but oh well. And my leg is getting a little numb. Okay, so, but you know, of course, I still have some good dreams, and yeah, that reminds me, I do have some other dreams that I want to share in my other videos, you know, my dream time videos, but those would have to wait for me to talk, you know, to tell those dreams. Because now I will say this, now I don't know if anyone will get the hint or not, or but that's okay. Now there was this one dream I had where I actually met one of my favorite paranormal YouTubers, and that I was actually gonna collab with her on her channel, so I will mention that in a video soon. And there was this other dream I had where I was watching a movie. Like, it's a movie that I grew up watching, but then when I was watching this movie in the dream, something happened that really did not happen. Because in this dream, no. Okay, I'm sorry. So in the movie, I just want to say this, that this movie that I was watching, now of course in this movie the character gets killed off, but not on screen, off screen. So now of course I never liked how they just killed off the character like that, because to me it was just like, whoa, okay, wait a minute, why? Like, to me it just seemed, it just happened too fast. And so yeah, but then of course in this dream I was watching a movie, but that did not happen. Like, this character of the movie did not get killed off. So it seemed like something happened where somehow he managed to survive, but yet he was unconscious, but he was alive. You know, his character was. And so I was just yeah, I remember when I was watching this movie, because at first, I remember in the dream I was like this, like, oh gosh, like, okay, what's going on? And then when the other character said, okay, I know you don't know what movie I'm talking about. I'm sorry, not being Pacific. But anyway, when I do get to that dream, you'll know which movie I'm talking about. But yeah, I think I had that dream because of the fact that I didn't like that that character was killed off, and it was like, wait, why? Like, okay, that's kind of fast. Like, you know what I mean? Because sometimes even the characters gets killed off, especially if it's like even off screen, and then you don't quite expect for it to happen so soon because you're kind of hoping to see at least maybe last moments of that character. But then when it happens off screen, you're like, wait a minute, no, can we just see a little bit more of that character? So, if you know what I'm talking about, like, I think it happens in some other movies too. But yeah, I feel like this was one of them because even, yeah, even now to this day, when I think about that scene, I'm like, why? Like, I mean, I've read somewhere why they killed off his character, but at the same time, like, what? I don't know. I just still don't like that. So this is going on for an hour and 16 minutes now. I'm sorry if I'm not being specific, but I'm pretty sure maybe in the comments I will. I don't know. I could. Yeah, I could go on and on about talking about dreams because I've had, different dreams. Now, of course, most of them that I do know, I've shared them in the video. And yeah, if you ever want to check out those videos, please do, because those are good dreams. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, so oh yeah, and I also noticed this too. Oh, here's another thing about dreams, but this also has to do with the topic of music and movies. Now, I do get those dreams at times where I hear a certain song in a dream. I don't get that all the time, but when I do, it's sometimes I would actually recognize the song that I'm listening to in the dream. And sometimes I think it probably means something depending on the song that I'm listening to, depending the song that I'm hearing in the dream, and depends on the lyrics itself that I'm actually hearing from the song. But then, and here's the thing, here's what I love about my dreams too, is that not only you, like when you have dreams, you can go anywhere you want, do anything you want, and even meet whoever you want to. But even in my dreams, not only do I happen to go to places that I would want to go and do anything and even meet anyone that I would want to meet, but even in my dreams, it's like sometimes there's times where I'm like watching something, watching a show, watching a movie, but then I get those dreams where I'm in it. Okay, like if I was dreaming about Buffy, like instead of watching it, I'll be in it. It's like somehow I'm playing me, but yet I'm like this character, like I'm still me as Brittany, but I'm like this new character, and I'm involved in the Buffy universe. Or if I'm dreaming about Jurassic Park, same thing. Like somehow I'm still me as Brittany, but yet I'm Brittany as this new character in the movie Jurassic Park, and I'm a part of the Jurassic Park universe, where I'm there, and when I'm there, sometimes certain things, like certain situations, will stay the same, but then some things will be very different because I'm there, and depends on what I do or say, that can either change things from one thing to another, or it may not change at all because it could lead, or sometimes it could just stay the same because somehow certain things just won't change no matter what anyone does or says. So it just kind of depends, but I actually love those dreams. I do, because I feel like, I don't know, I really love those dreams because I feel like, wow, it's almost like I'm playing me of myself, but yet they don't know that. I know that, but yet it's like I'm this new character here. So I'm in this show now, or I'm in this movie, and yet, like, there are some things that I can maybe change of a certain situation, or maybe, maybe there's just some things that I can do or say, or like, let's say if there are certain characters that I interact with and I happen to get along with those characters, but then there are some other characters I probably won't really get along with, especially if they're the bad guys. So it's like, no, but if they're the good guys, yeah, I'll get along with them very, very well. But yeah, I actually like those dreams because it feels like I'm, like I said, it feels like I have this new role. Like, okay, I'm in Buffy, I'm in the show of Buffy, or I'm in the movie Jurassic Park, or I'm in the movie of Batman Forever. Like, depending, I think it depends on exactly what show or movie I'm dreaming about, and yeah, I feel like I'm a part of it. Like I'm this new character that just happens to be there, like existing in the world of Buffy, or in the world of Jurassic Park, or whichever TV show world I might be a part of, or whichever movie world I might be a part of, if you know what I mean. So, yeah. I hope if that makes any sense, but yeah. I actually love those dreams because I find it very interesting where I'm interacting with those characters, and yet if I see something that I don't like, I stop it, or if I see someone's in danger, I try to save them, or maybe I do save them, or maybe, like, let's say if there's a certain character that I like, and then somehow they happen to like me, but then certain things kind of go towards, it kind of goes towards to, okay, this fictional character and this new Brittany character, okay, they seem to like each other. You know what I mean? So sometimes that happens too, and I'm like, wow, okay, like, I didn't know that was gonna happen, but okay, I don't mind. So, sometimes that happens too. So, and yeah, that's what I like about those dreams, is that anything can happen. So yeah, I really like those dreams. Now this might be really long, but like I said, that's okay. So, like I said, I could still go on talking about dreams, but I feel like, now we could talk about other things, and honestly, we are going to be talking about the paranormal. And I know it's something I haven't talked about on my channel before, but now for those who may or may not know, but I do believe in the paranormal. Like, I know for a fact that it's real, and I've had and I still have experiences. Now, I know they say that children at a very young age are most likely to see and hear things that most people can, especially if they're adults. Because I think sometimes when you get older, you grow out of it, but that's not always true. And honestly, even when I was quite young, when I was a little girl, I mean, I've always felt like a uneasy presence, but I never saw or heard anything. But I think that's only because at the time I think the house was blessed, and because of that, I do think there was a spiritual blockage, which why I couldn't see or hear anything. But it wasn't until when my family and I moved that then I started to, and and like I said, because when we moved, yeah, that's when I realized that I can, see and hear things. And but of course, when I came to find that out of of what I can see and hear, I wasn't freaked out. I wasn't scared. I wasn't like, what? Oh no, like nothing like that. I was just like, okay, I've always somehow had a feeling that, but yeah, I think somehow I just, accepted it, and I was just like, okay, and so, yeah, there's just many things that I've experienced that I mean, so some of it was like, ooh, kind of scary, but some of it, wasn't. Now, of course, I have, seen spirits, but, yeah, like, it's just, yeah. I mean, I wasn't, scared, but, like that, sometimes, yeah, I do, and of course, and yeah, there's times where I would, hear, like, a voice, or I would hear knocking, and I still get that, like, I think depending on what I'm doing or what's on my mind, then I'll hear knocking, but not, like, loud, but kind of like, kind of like that. And so when I do hear knocking at my door at times, it would get my attention, and then I'll just look at the door. I'm like, but I would stay quiet for a moment because I don't know if anyone might be at my door. But then if I don't hear anything, if I don't hear anybody calling out my name, like nothing, that's like, okay, then I know. I don't know where to start, but I know this is gonna be a quite different topic, but please keep an open mind. And plus, I do have a favorite paranormal YouTuber who does videos on the paranormal, and that is Brittany Crab. And please check out her channel, and I'll leave her channel in right here on the iCard, so please check her out. She's just great, and yeah, I would love to meet her one day and collab with her. I think that'll be great. That'll be a lot of fun. But I'm trying to think, like, oh yeah, I remember one time, and this was scary, but there was a time where, like, this was years ago, but there was a time, I think it was around in my 20s, but I remember me and my sister were talking upstairs. You know, we were in the hallway upstairs, and then all of a sudden, we we both heard this. We both heard this loud, evil laugh coming from downstairs, and the moment we heard it, we just like jumped and like stopped talking, and we just looked downstairs, like, you know, we just looked in that direction. We're like, you know, like we paused and we were in shock, and yeah, we were like, did you heard that? And like, yeah. And then so after that, we just stood quiet and we were like, okay, is anyone here? You know, is anyone at home? So we looked downstairs. We went downstairs. We looked at the TV in the living room. The TV was off, and we checked if anybody else was at home. No one was at home. And so yeah, there was nothing. Like, there was like the TV that was the TV wasn't on, and there was nothing electronic that was left on that somehow we would have heard that. So yeah, so that was really scary. And I just remember we both thought, okay, so yeah, we heard this loud evil laugh. So yeah, and I have a feeling that the laugh we heard, of course, it did sound like this loud laugh, which like echoed downstairs. Like, well, not downstairs, but there were high ceilings, so pretty much it was so loud that it echoed through upstairs. So it was like, and I had chills, you know. Oh, I did. And the thing is, I also like to watch things about paranormal investigations. Cause you know, I'm just very open-minded to it, cause you know, I am a believer, and I know that is true. Because the thing is, now we are physical beings, but we are spiritual. That's the thing. We are very spiritual beings as much as we are as physical. And you know, that's true, because we have a soul, and without that soul, we wouldn't be alive in our physical bodies, you know. And that's just plain and simple right there. That's the truth. So yeah, and I know this is something I quite had talked about, but yes. And I know this might sound silly, but I've also seen dinosaur ghosts. I remember one time, a long time ago, I saw what looked like a T-Rex in my room, but it was standing like in front of the dresser, but right in front of me, and I was on my bed, but it was looking right at me. But I didn't feel scared though. You know, I didn't feel scared at all. But yeah, it looked like a young T-Rex. It didn't look like an adult T-Rex, because they would have been really big. But this one looked like maybe at least maybe 1 inch taller than me. So it looked like around there, almost like a teen T-Rex, you know. But oh man, I feel like there's so much I can say about this, but at the same time, I feel like, which ones do I mention? uh, yeah, that's the thing. I'm really trying to think. Um, yeah, see, ghost. Hey, boo. So yeah, on my nightgown says ghostess with a mostess. Um, yeah, I'm really trying to think here. So, but yeah, there was another time. I think about I think about 3 years ago, where just when I was done using the bathroom and I turned off the light in the bathroom behind me, and just when I closed the door a little bit, I heard a voice. I think a voice that warned me, um, saying to me from behind me, saying, "Don't look behind you." And then when I heard that, I stood very still, and I'm like, "Don't look behind me," like. And so yeah, I was just like, okay, why? I didn't know what to think. And I thought, okay, there must be a reason, but I kind of did. I kind of looked behind me, and I saw that after I turned off the light, of course it was very dark in the bathroom, and I was just like, okay, I'm feeling uneasy here because I do not like the dark. I don't. And for anyone who may not know, is that of course, for those who do know, that I'm afraid of spiders, completely. So I have arachnophobia, and ooh, I feel like it was kind of hard for me to swallow after I said that. I'm also afraid of sharks and clowns, but I'm also afraid of the dark, like total darkness. Okay, for example, if this light was off along with the lights off and the TV off, and if this room was completely dark with no light, not even like a shimmer of light, then yeah, I would be scared if it was complete darkness in this room and not to see a thing. I would be completely scared. So, and that's why I felt, and yeah, that's why at the time when the voice said don't look behind you, I think that's because the voice was trying to warn me that there was something watching me within the darkness of the bathroom and just watching me, and I just felt very uneasy. So as soon as I felt that, I went to my room. And just locked the door, and I just felt like, okay, I'm gonna stay in here for a while and not go near that dark bathroom. So yeah, that's what happened. But yeah, that's what happened. I'm trying to think. Oh, now this was something that I saw, like, I remember a long time ago. I think this was maybe when I was around maybe 18. Yeah, when I was 18, I remember. Yeah, so at the time when I was 18, I remember. No, yeah, I think I was either 17, like, yeah, or 18, around there. But I remember just when I was in my room watching TV, and all of a sudden, I see, like, in the corner of my eye, I see my bedroom door opening, but it had those handles, like, it didn't have like a doorknob, like a brown one. It had those like door handles where it has like a curve, you know, like this. So in the corner of my eye, I see the door moving, and so I see it like it's like this. So it opens very slowly, and then it closes. So when I saw this, I looked at it and I thought, wait, who's opening the doors? Because I thought someone was at my doors. Because I didn't know if it was my sister or anyone else. So when I saw that, I slowly got up from my bed and I was walking towards the door. But then, just when I was slowly walking towards the bedroom door, it did it again. It did it right in front of me as I was slowly walking. So imagine this is door opening and I'm walking slowly towards it, and it's doing it again, like it's opening. And then just when I was getting a bit closer, it closes. The door closes right in front of me. But when it did that, I remember standing in front of the door and I'm just looking at the handle. I'm looking at the handle thinking like, okay, is it gonna do it again? Because I'm a bit closer now. And then I remember I was also waiting to see if it was my sister or if it was anyone else in the house that maybe would have done that. So since I didn't hear anything, no one else made a sound, nothing, it was completely quiet. So after that, I just stared at the doorknob like this, and I was like, so I opened it. So after I opened the door, my sister was in her room upstairs and everyone else was downstairs, and because there was no one else upstairs except for me and my sister and everyone else was downstairs, then I knew, like, okay, that was something spiritual. Like I knew it, and I have a feeling about that too, because even the way what was opening, like very slowly and gently, like how it was doing that, like I don't think anyone would be doing that if they were standing right there, because if it was anyone that was standing right there, I would have somehow seen their shadow, you know, but you know, I didn't see anyone there. So yeah, so that's how I knew that it was a spirit. Maybe opening the door and opening it again in front of me. I think somehow it was trying to get my attention. On what though? I don't know. But that was something. And yeah, there's just many things. Hang on a sec. Alright, I'm back. So yeah, I know there's probably many that I could go on about, but yeah, at the same time, I'm not sure there are certain ones I could mention. I mean, I probably could, but I'm not sure. But I hope you guys enjoy this, and yeah, and yeah, I would say I also, now of course I would say at times where I do feel, you know, a presence with me, but when I do, you know, I usually feel calm and comforted, you know. And yeah, if you want to hear anything more, let me know and I will. But yeah, I had fun talking about these topics with you guys. Oh, and I did mention that I was gonna talk about even about my past crushes. So okay, So I'll mention that real quick before I upload this. So, like I said, my past crushes were, at the time when I was little, Jeff Goldblum and Val Kilmer at the time. And when I was a teenager, I would say my crushes were Leonardo DiCaprio, Chris Pine, Gerard Butler, which I think those ones are still are. So from then till now. And Taylor Lautner was also a past crush when I was a teen, but no longer now. I don't know. I think it's just because I don't know. I think then was kind of different. I wouldn't really say it's because of the Twilight movies. No, I wouldn't say it's because of that. That's why I liked him. No, it's just because I think you can say sometimes when you do have a crush on someone, sometimes when you get a bit older, sometimes you don't kind of feel that way. Somehow you don't longer like bleh. You no longer somehow crush on them on the same way that how you felt about them before. So it's like you kind of grow out of it, because then once you get older, you kind of find out you have some other crushes, maybe ones you probably never thought you would have, but or this too, maybe there's ones that you probably kind of thought you felt that way, but somehow you were sure, but then you somehow you don't quite admit to what you're feeling, so you kind of just push it aside, and you're like, it's like somehow you don't think about it, but then maybe when years later goes by and somehow those feelings kind of come back, and then you're like, okay, I can't deny it this time. Like, I don't know, I feel like that happened with me. Now, I could mention that, but like I said, if you guys want to know some other ones that are very current ones that are very present right now, then yeah, I could probably mention that in another slumber party video, but that would have to be next month though, because I'm very hesitant to mention it now because this video would be very long. And not only that, but even if I do mention it, I would want to at least hear some positive comments about it. I'm just being honest about that. So yeah. So anyway, so I had fun, talking to you guys about these topics. So I hope we could do it again soon. I do think the next one will be in October, but when in October? I don't know, but we'll just have to wait and see. But I hope you guys like this, and if you want to hear more of the paranormal stories, I will talk about that with you. If you want to hear more about music, movies, or about what I mentioned about us, like if you want to hear about any other crushes that I have now, I will mention that. But if I do, I want to hear positive comments about it. So that's all I'm gonna say. And oh man, I wish I could keep going on talking about this all day, but there is next month, so I will let you know when I'm gonna do that in October. So I hope you guys had fun and chat with me in the comments below. And yeah, I hope you guys had fun. I know I did. So that's all for today, and yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and gonna relax, watch some TV for a bit before I go to sleep, and that's all for today, and I'll see you at the movies.